Could be an exciting evening. It's time for the big reveal. So yeah, let's get round there and start taking the tape off. Alright, we're just tidying up the back cockpit. It's mainly this area here where there used to be a cutout for the throttle, but that was filled in, bonded up with fibre lam, but the filling was a bit rough, so I'm just spraying the tops with some primer, and then we'll go over with our Hurricane Grey that we tried to match with the original paint. So yeah, hopefully tonight I'll put some Hurricane Grey on, but first I've just got to get another layer of primer on where I've been filling some bits and pieces. Okay, so we had this bit of rough cutting under here I didn't like, so I've made this as a bit of a finisher. So let's see if we can pop it on there. There we go, a bit of Araldite, and it's popped on there. A couple of rolls of tape just to keep it pushed up against the fuselage until it goes off. So let's pop that later and see how it is looking. Wow, look at this. We're back in the workshop. Fairly empty workshop. The other way round. So I can get the business end dealt with this time, with it facing the other way. Still got quite a bit to do. The workshop's being torn down in 2 weekends time. So yes, I got a bit of a deadline, but I think we should just about make it. So here comes the engine on my Rotax approved engine trolley. Everybody should have one. And then we're going to lift it on there in a little bit. Specifically designed for this job because it has a nice padded area to go against your freshly sprayed tank to avoid damage. And then it's a simple lift from the Rotax trolley platform up onto the subframe. So yeah, looking forward to getting that on there. Must remember to put the big heavy weight in the nose before we do it. So here I am trying to wire in the new EGTs to the existing EGT wires. I've actually cut the wires that come all the way from the panel down the side here, and I previously had run underneath the engine, so I've shortened that a little bit, trying to keep these nice and short as well so we don't get any flappy while we're flying, because that's never any good. Don't think much of these, well, don't think much of these EGT connectors. They are proper EGT connectors, and that's what they look like on the inside. Just some screw terminals, not particularly waterproof or anything, not all that spectacular really, but I bought them, so that's what I'm going to use. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. The beauty of these, I suppose, is if my EGTs are the wrong way round, I can just unplug one and the other and swap them over. So that'll make getting the right needle for the right cylinder easier if I'm that particular. But other than that, yeah, they're just a little bit of a fiddle to wire up. Okay, so there are the new connections, and they're the AGT cables going up. So that's pretty much it. Tomorrow we put the exhaust on, route the choke cable, and that's the left hand side done, I think. Fuel pipe down here. It needs to go onto the slipper, and then we can start on the right hand side, and that's the engine done. Back on. Right, on for the next phase, exhaust. So under here we've got a freshly painted exhaust. And a freshly painted elbow piece. So I'm going to put some copper slip in these bits and bobs, and pop this bit on first, and then get some lock wiring done, and then I'll attempt to mount the second piece. So let's get that done. So a little bit of copper slip in there. Oh, trusty I made from last time. So I think I'll lock wire that now, because it'd be easy to get onto this back one, and then I'll do the silencer afterwards. So there's the first section lock wired on in the style that I was taught. So you wrap it round the hoop and the end of the wire, so when the spring snaps it keeps the broken bit still attached to the manifold, and then you coil it through, but you don't pull it tight, and then you trap the one on the other side as well. And the reason why you don't pull it tight is to allow things to move. So that's that one done. Let's get this silencer on. Oh, and it's funny how these little things sit in wait for you, these little pitfalls. Having a whale of a time putting all my lock wire on. It's quite a nice, satisfying finishing job. Just going to put the silencer on, trying to work out where I ran this, and of course I ran it up in between the manifold there, didn't I? So now I've got to undo the manifold and pop the choke cable up through there. Donut. Right, there's the exhaust all lock wired up, all bolted up. Just been routing these cables. I've got some cable ties to put on just to secure this. So we don't want any flappy when we're flying along. Vibration is the enemy. So yeah, it's looking good on the left hand side. And then round to this side, trying to work out where all these different Bowden cables that I made up, which side of pipes they ran, was a bit of a nightmare. So for prosperity, here's a bit of a close-up so I can look at it next time. So that's where they all ran. I've got to work out my oil stop. There's the temperature sender cables. That needs to be reconnected. I've got some soldering to do there. And just to check, carbs are back on. Run a little straight edge across the top of them, and they're not bad, so they're nicely lined up. Put new fuel line here, slightly thicker stuff. It's going to cost me a few grams in weight, thicker than this original stuff. It's 1/4 inch pipe but thicker wall. Used my new clips, which I quite like, which match these ones here that Glenn fitted last time. Then all this wants cable tying back to stop all of that again. And the air filter, just giving that a bit of a clean with a bit of 100 LL, because I've got a bit of that kicking around. So I'm going to give it a wipe off, let it dry out thoroughly, and then put some more K&N oil on it. It wasn't dirty, a couple of little bits of grit came out, if that. Right, there is the new cowling on the regulator. So the idea is that just sticks around the edge of the canopy there, grabs a little bit of air and chucks it across the fins. I was told that because these sit in dead air on the back firewall of a shadow, the cooling doesn't work all that well, especially on a hot day, and that can cause them to expire early. So I thought, let's just chuck a bit of air around there. So yeah, I'll see how many years that works for. So there we go, there's the carbs all ready to go. That's my line on my oil pipe with the throttle shut. So next thing is the air filter, and that needs a little bit of oiling up. So let's look for my K&N. So I'm going to look for my K&N filter oil now. Just check my throttle slides as well, and they seem to be lifting nice and equally, reaching the top pretty damn equally and then clunking down together, which is good. So turn my attention to the filter. As you can see, it's pretty damn dry now and clean. So we need to put a bit of this on there, air filter oil. Don't want to overdo it because I know that too much oil can choke them up a little bit. So I saw evidence of that last year. So yeah, just a little bit of a light coating on the ribs. Here we go. And there you go. As you can see, it's changed colour. It's more pink now, and the bit of oil that I've put along each rib is wicking its way into each of the fins. So I shall leave it at that for now. Next job, let's put it on and do some lock wiring. And there we have it, air filter on, oiled up, mounted, lock wired. I don't know if you can see that on there, but when I put these on, I lock wire through the clip as well, because if your filter should come loose and it's flapping about there, and the lock wire will hold it on, but there's no point in your clips going through the prop. So I go through the clips as well, just to make sure that they have a chance of staying on as well. Couple of things. Joe Roberts, you were asking about fuel pumps. Yeah, mine's mounted vertically. I know Finbar has mounted this horizontally as per the manufacturer's recommendations, but the previous Shadow I flew, a Lima Victor, had it in this orientation, and it was easier to mount like that. I made this bracket at the back there and a couple of spaces just to set it off a little bit. So yeah, that does for me. And then as far as, this is just ACF 50 that I've been spraying on everything, it's not fuel leaking out. But as far as the primer bulb and the bypass, there's no non-return valve in mine. It doesn't pump up firm, but you give it a good few pumps, and that's enough to get a few shots of fuel up into the float chambers, enough to get it started. So in my experience, no need for another non-return valve in there. It's just another thing to go wrong. No need to squeeze the tube as you're priming. You just got to give it 2 or 3 good pumps and away it'll go. Just clipped on my other sender wire to the slipper tank, so that's all mounted up there on these sticky pads, just to keep it tucked out of the way, stop it flapping around. So what have we got left on here? We've got temperature sender to sort out, and that's pretty much it before I put some antifreeze in it and mount the prop. Better connect these couple of fuel pipes on as well, I suppose. They'll want doing. And then there's the battery to reconnect. So we're getting pretty close.